So another thing is, I used to be like hold on, girl. I used to be an awesome public speaker, right? I don't know if anybody knows that or not. Back when my kids were in baseball, I used to announce the baseball games. That was one of the most fun things I ever did. I was on boards at baseballs, and I helped build buildings for dugouts, those kind of things. I was a volunteer my whole life, and the reason I was a volunteer is because my mother, when I was younger, we were driving down the road and she saw a guy with his kids carrying groceries, and she said, well, he don't need to be carrying those groceries. And so she picked him up, took him home. And from that time on, I understood what it was like to have a heart for others. So through my whole life, I've done those kind of things. I was at church 99% of the time. I did church ministries. I've done local outreaches to the homeless. I used to speak at the homeless shelter 3 or 4 times once a month maybe. I used to go to prison every Monday night. I did prison ministry, helped do a training program there. I also did bus ministry at church, Wednesday night classes, Sunday morning service, picking people up, going and getting the senior citizens, taking them to church. Also, I ran a very successful business, sometimes making hundreds of thousands a year. I owned real estate. I also owned, a portfolio of properties. That's how I made my income. Currently, I don't have a real estate license anymore. I had it for 39 years. I had to get rid of it. Being able to keep up the stuff online. Plus, currently, listing homes got more complicated, I guess, too. So all that was in my past and all those things I did. But even going back to like when I was a kid, I started working when I was 16. I had to get me a job so I could get money to buy my first car. And after that, I had to get a job to keep gas in it. I worked my whole life from the time I was 16 until I was 58 or something like that, 56. And then I had to stop working. The reason I had to stop working is because if you lose the connection to your central brain system and you can't make any kind of logical decisions day in and day out, you don't have much choice. So why am I saying all this? I used to be top producer at everything I did, and now I'm not. I'm not a top producer at anything. On the surface, I can look good and I can smile and I can, probably make the appearance of some kind, but it's gone and it's never coming back. And another thing that can be frustrating too, talking about church, is that, if you tell any person that goes to church or a pastor, you say, oh man, this disease is incurable and it's never going to get better. Their first inclination is to say, well, you don't have enough faith. That's not about faith. It's about my brain cells depreciating in my head. Now, God could touch me and do that, but I don't know. What I'm trying to say is it's way more serious than, just that. Now, you could pray for God to give me longer life. You could pray for somebody to find a cure. You could pray for all that. And I say, yes, that's true. But in my current situation, with no advancements and no whatever, in a couple of years, my brain will be I'll still be probably able to do stuff, but I'm not able to think about doing things either. Like I used to be the planner in our family. We'd go on cruises, go on trips. We went to Nashville. We went to baseball things in Alabama. We did traveling baseball. We did traveling soccer. We did baseball, soccer in high school and all that. Both of my kids. Again, I worked on those, boards and things when I was involved with that. I was with Junior Achievement. Went to classes and taught kids, about how to, do their finances, that sort of thing. Family First. I did the religious Family First training in prisons. What am I saying? All this stuff is what I could do, and none of that stuff can I do now. If you came by and got me every Monday night, and you brought the books and you took me into prison, I'd have to have a script written down because I wouldn't be able to recall, the things that I was supposed to say. I used to speak at prison every time we went. I was the speaker. I was a cut up. I've been a comedian my whole life, if you want to say that. I've been the fun guy in the room. I've been all the energy guy, and also I was super, forgiving from that standpoint. I would try to find the good in people and never try to find the bad. That meter in me has broken. I can get pretty gloomed out on people nowadays. And I can obsess and compulse over things too. So if I could say something to someone in the store or even at a baseball game with family, and to me it doesn't mean what it means to somebody else, and I say something that just really, can be cutting, or I don't know. It just comes out of my mouth before I can think about it. But for me, it doesn't affect me at the moment, but then I might obsess over it for days thinking about it. So sometimes another thing can keep me awake is that kind of stuff. Okay. I don't know if this is going to help anybody else, but it's helping me. All right. Have a good day.